Off top, which team leads the league in turnover margin and by how much over the second place team? Play the music.
This is the Domonique Foxworth Show.
Welcome to the Domonique Foxworth Show presented by Allstate. Throw your hands up. I'm Domonique Foxworth. That's Bill Barnwell. The great, all-knowing Bill Barnwell is here. And Charlie Kravitz in his water hat as usual. So, what you guys got? I feel like you're going to be able to guess, or not guess. You probably already know who leads the league in turnover margin. Bill?
Chicago Bears.
You got it. The shocking part is by how much over the number 2 team, which happens to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Charlie, you got to guess the distance between them, their turnover margin.
Plus 8 more.
Nailed it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's the number I was going to say.
It's 17 for the Bears and 9 for the Bucs. Does that make you confident or less confident?
Seems totally sustainable to me.
Yeah, totally.
Hard to poke any holes in that.
I don't, as I've said many times, I don't believe in regression. So it seems totally.
We're recording this while the team that Charlie loves, the Washington Commanders, are playing the Broncos. We didn't think that we're going to need to cover that game. For those who don't know, Charlie, big Commanders fan. Bill said the Commanders are going to regress this season. One of our guys was right, and one of our guys is not even sad, indifferent.
No, I'm
different about this. Oh, you're sad?
I'm sad.
You did.
I'm just, I'm indifferent. I'm different about this game.
The good news is there's plenty of things for me to be wrong about as we get through the rest of the NFL.
You're never wrong, Bill. We've already established this.
So, but
Ooh, I think we may find a spot or two where I was wrong about the games this weekend.
You're not wrong. You're just early.
I think we were.
That's true.
I feel confident in this first game that we were all wrong about predicting the outcome of this.
Nope, I wasn't. Remember, I texted you right before the game started. I said, "What if the Panthers win?"
Yeah, that's a
count it. It's time stamped and everything. It was before the first touchdown was scored. I said, "What if the Panthers beat the Rams?"
What if? Classic. Classic. I bear no responsibility if this team loses, but I get all the credit if this team wins.
Did you even consider it? Did any of you say, "What if?" They win? Not one of you said what if. You didn't even consider it as a possibility. I did, and it wasn't even like, I know Charlie doesn't believe in the Panthers because he's a Bryce Young hater, but I mean,
don't paint me as a Bryce Young hater.
Hold on.
I was on the Bill Barnwell show and said specifically it'd be scary to give him up. It'd be scary because he might succeed elsewhere on Monday. But anyway,
got people climbing on top of each other to jump onto the Bryce Young bandwagon. I can't believe this is where we're at.
We'll get to this part because so Panthers 31, Rams 28, and Domonique was asking me about what I thought about this game, and ahead of the time I was like, this feels like a fluke. It feels like they had 2 long touchdowns on 4th and 3 and 4th and 4. They had Matt Stafford just randomly drop the ball when they were driving in Panthers territory. They had a tipped interception. But let's take this macro. People have talked for the last 3 or 4 weeks about the Rams being the best team in the NFC. And we can get to the Panthers part of that and the Bryce Young part of it afterwards. But do you read anything into this loss for the Rams? They gave up the 1 seed. Okay, you do.
I do. I did not foresee it, as our friend What If Foxworth apparently did. But there is a legit issue with this Rams team, and it's the secondary. It is when you give the quarterback opportunities to throw, you can make hay on the secondary. And we've seen in their losses. I go back especially to the Eagles game, where the Eagles had to come back in the 4th quarter. They had to throw, and it was a lot of A.J. Brown against Emmanuel Forbes, who was benched earlier this year for a stretch, has played really well since then, but then gave up those 2 long touchdowns on 4th down in this game. When the pass rush is not operating at full strength, when you can hold up against that, you can throw on the secondary. That is a legit issue for this Rams team. It has been all season. They've never really fixed it. When it's looked good, it's usually been because the pass rush has been so dominant that Bryce Young or whatever quarterback they're facing has not had opportunities to throw the football. But if you can hold up in pass pro, you can throw on this team. And we saw that in big moments in this game.
Yeah, and I think that, that's the weak point that I think leads to some of the other breakdowns. Like, they struggled, I think. Not struggled is a strong word, but the Panthers are a good running team, and they ran the ball on them also, which is something that I didn't expect to see considering how good we think that front is for the Rams. But I think this was part of what I had a hard time in bringing some of our pre-show argument on here. Is like, I think Charlie wanted to dismiss this as a nothing. And it's like, I get it. But like when you watch it and saying that the fourth down conversions led to big plays, like, yeah, had they not gone for it, it wouldn't have been an issue. But the problem is the reason why they're successful in those situations were in large part because of the weaknesses that we know exist. And those weaknesses aren't going to go away. You combine that with Bryce Young having some level of athleticism and escapability. Like if you can, he shed off a couple of sacks and it turns into big plays that breaks this team. So I think we want to be able to find somebody. The hardest thing about this season so far is it's impossible to find somebody, a team that you're like, all right, they got it. You know, and the Rams were the best version of it. And I think it's hurting us to be able to not be able to honestly say that, you know what, the Rams, they are last year's, or the closest thing we have to last year's Eagles, right? Or the Ravens from last year. Like a team that we're looking at and it's like, or the Chiefs from a few years ago, you're looking at, you're like, all right, they could lose, but it's going to be a fluke. I don't feel like that about any team left in, or any team in the NFL right now.
I agree with that, for
sure.
You
are completely correct. We are floating around desperately looking for something to hold on to, a piece of driftwood. And we see the Rams and we're like, oh, this is a yacht. Like we are so set. The Rams are just a slightly nicer piece of driftwood, slightly less soaked than other parts of driftwood floating around. We need to accept that there's not that team this year. And it felt like the only team people could trust was the Rams because people could trust Matthew Stafford. Right. And as good as Matthew Stafford has been this year, I think that touchdown to interception ratio probably inflated a little bit of what people thought of him. And we saw that was not going to be sustainable and led to, unfortunately, 3 takeaways for the Panthers in this game, including a pick 6.
I would just like to say there's a team later on that we'll talk about in the show that I've decided I trust.
Oh, no.
I know what team it is. And I don't know if I trust them, but I definitely love them. I love them. But anyway,
let's just say Domonique and I almost wore jorts to talk about this team today.
Yep. Jorts, cutoff tees, and cowboy hats.
No.
But hold on one second. Sorry. I wanted to pick up on the Matt Stafford point.
Go ahead.
So I don't assume touchdown to interception ratio is a stat that the Bilk respects, but especially when it's a bunch of like short touchdowns for Matt Stafford, which I guess converting in the red zone is really difficult. And it matters that they're able to manufacture these short touchdowns against Devontae Adams. But the interceptions in this particular game, one's a tip ball, the other one was like, it's a ridiculous
bad throw.
Yeah, just a poor decision too. Like it was thrown behind him, which was a bad throw, but it's also a poor decision. Like they just sat on the route, didn't back up one bit and just trusted and threw it. But I don't know. I guess my question out of that is, do you feel like the Matt Stafford, like, I was going to say stereotype, but it's not really a stereotype, the history of turning the ball over and being overly aggressive in situations is actually something that we still have to worry about?
Of course it is. I mean, go back to the year they won the Super Bowl. Yeah. He threw 2 picks
you love
in
saying
the dang
this.
Super Bowl.
I do.
It's true, though.
Oh, no.
No, it's
Bill loves saying the actual ones that were intercepted. I love to point out that he threw a very ugly pass in the championship game that was just a jump ball. Not even a jump ball. It bounced right off of
Jaquaski Tart.
Yeah, off of Tart's chest, and it would have ended the game. And I mean, generally, I like to do that, like to look through the championship teams and point out how, like, in that same year, there was a turnover in the Chiefs-Bengals game that wasn't because the Chiefs linebacker dropped one. But those things pop up. But the reason why the Matt Stafford one mattered to me was because it was exactly what it's similar to the receiver or to the cornerbacks being the issue. When the issue looks exactly like you expect it to be, it means more to me. If it's like a fluke thing, but like, no, Matt Stafford sometimes gonna let that thing rip and hit somebody in the chest, and that's what he did.
I mean, so sometimes Matt Stafford looks like the best quarterback in football, and there's times where he looks like, Joe Flacco with about an extra $100 million. And that you can still win with Joe Flacco with an extra $100 million, but people have been painting Matthew Stafford as that other version of Matthew Stafford each and every week this year, and that is probably not entirely accurate.
But I mean, he hasn't had the turnovers. So like without the turnovers and he has these freakish throws, like he is that guy. He's done it for a long enough period of time that I was willing to consider that maybe I know it's crazy, but maybe he had like put it behind him. And this game wasn't that bad. Like that interception he threw.
This feels like we're pouring way too much water on the Rams. I still think that they're the best team in the NFC, and we can do like some top of the NFC trust rankings before we get to the rest of the games. But like, the reason I point out the tip ball interception, the random fumble and those things is it's not like those happened and they lost to the Panthers 31-13 because they were outplayed. They lost by 3 to the juggernaut Carolina Panthers team that could take that division this year by 3 points with 4 plays that just feel.
I think you're right.
Fluky.
I think you're right to call us out in that like. It's a loss. Teams in the NFL are going to lose. I don't think that
those guys get paid too, Domonique. Remember,
absolutely. They are on scholarship also. Charlie and these stupid cliches you like to make fun of me about. But anyway, they lost the game. That's fine. It wasn't an embarrassing, awful loss. It was to a team that we don't think is a serious contender. That hurts, but teams are going to lose. I think the reason why Bill and I are bringing up these points is these are the things that you would say. Like, if this team is going to lose, this is why.
Yes,
and I think
absolutely.
Sometimes when they go on a winning streak and they look and the passes are so beautiful, and they get multiple sacks and they're pressuring everybody, we forget. And then we're reminded that
well, it's also
they got these flaws.
And the flaws, like obviously the turnovers are a part of it, but like the things that you pointed out, Bill, those are real things that might get exploited by better teams. And you too with the running game. If they play a Bears team in the postseason and that team goes for 40 carries for 260 yards like they did, or who knows what happens if they play a Dallas team and Emmanuel Forbes gets exposed because suddenly he's guarding George Pickens for an entire game, or the Eagles his nightmare matchup of AJ Brown comes back to haunt him again. Like these are real things. To me, they still have been like in totality, minus a few plays in this game, they've been the best team. And if like we're talking the counter narrative of this is like if one of those 4 plays doesn't happen, they win the game by a touchdown, and we aren't talking about it this way. We're like, wow, like the Panthers played this Rams team really tough, and Bill's pointing out the flaws as reasons to be not too all in on them, but we're shaking them off, being like, well, they are the best team.
But yeah, I mean, had he completed that game-winning drive that it felt like Matt Stafford was on, we would have been like, they found a way to beat a team when they didn't have their best game. I think it's fair to call out the one possession games as sometimes you can draw too much of a conclusion, but I don't know. I think less about. Go ahead, Bill.
Flip it back to last year. I don't know if you remember the Eagles-Panthers game, but like 40 seconds left, Bryce Young has a deep post for a touchdown. I think it was Xavier Legette.
Yep.
Perfect throw. Xavier Legette can't bring it in. They lose that game. If they win that game, I don't know that we're having the same conversation about the Eagles because they had been so dominant and so consistent that entire season that I feel like we would not have been able to poke as many holes. With the Rams, I think that Dominique's point is really accurate here. It's not just that they lost, it's how they lost. It is in the exact way, with the exact flaws we would have expected. It doesn't mean that what we saw earlier this year is not real. It doesn't mean they don't have a ceiling. They do have a ceiling. They are a really good team. But again, it's just that thing of looking desperately for a team you can consistently trust week after week. They're not going to lose to an inferior team, something everyone else in the NFL seemingly has been doing. The Rams are not immune to that. And I don't know if there's anybody in the NFL who is not immune to that right now.
Should we take a moment to just highlight December Bryce? I know it's November, but 1 month Bryce every year is like turns into a different guy down the stretch of these games. And what was the stat?
Bryce?
What was the stat that Bill, you tagged me on Twitter? He has 11 game-winning drives. He's the youngest quarterback in NFL history to have
Panthers,
very cherry-picked 11 game-winning drives.
Panthers tweeted out one of the tweets of the year. Youngest player in NFL history with 11 game-winning drives. Bryce Young, couple months ahead of Josh Allen and Peyton Manning. One of the all-time great team social media posts. I have not seen one this good since like the Bo Nix tweets from last year. It was like Bo Nix and a bunch of Hall of Famers over like a very arbitrary middle of the season span. If If you can pull that off as a social media team, you deserve to be respected. The Panthers deserve our respect.
You know that's coming from the nerds, right? Like they're going to their analytics department and like, hey, cook me up something real quick. That's a bilk. You think that the social media department is sifting through all the historical stats and finding this? Nope.
Right.
They're going to.
You're right. That is the bilk that is unfortunately working for the man. I am free to be honest about how ridiculous of a stat that is.
That's beautiful. I love
Panthers bilk, unfortunately, looking it up.
Caleb's got 5 this
Does
year.
he?
Yeah. He could get him. He got him. He's got like a year and a half.
I like the idea
him down.
of turning this in like the arbitrary like benchmark of 11 comeback wins at a certain age is like a determining factor. We should turn that into a thing. It'd be like the Cal Ripken streak, my other favorite.
Oh, wait a second. Never mind. You won't get him. Caleb's like too much younger than Bryce Young.
Oh, really?
Impossible. I have a quasi off top for you both. A quasi trivia for you both. Do you know who holds the single season record for most game winning drives and fourth quarter comebacks in one season?
Ooh, all right. Game winning drives.
Give you a hint.
Give
you a hint. We have talked about this player and this season on this very show.
Oh, this player in this season. Oh, okay. All right.
He was on the field on Sunday.
Oh, so it can't be Joe Flacco because he wasn't on the field. He was on the sideline this Sunday. Tyrod Taylor.
No, it was Kirk. Kirk in 2022.
Captain
With the
Kirk.
Vikings. 8 game-winning drives, 8 fourth-quarter comebacks from our man Kirk Cousins.
Do you have
who's
so like we go to the 85 Bears when we want to compare some team. You say they aren't the 85 Bears. Who is the lucky team? Like the luckiest team in history. I feel like this is when we go to this conversation because every year it seems like we have a team that like lucks their way to the top. We need to have a benchmark for who's the team that most overachieved.
It's got to be the 08 Denver Broncos.
Based on the stats.
Tebow Broncos might be it.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll keep it in my pocket. So are the Bears this year's Tebow Broncos? No, because it can't be the Tebow Broncos because so much else comes with that. The Tebow stuff, it has to be a different team. I feel like it's
Caleb stuff comes with the Bears though.
That's fair. Because when you evoke Tebow's name, it's a different type of luck. It's not the same it's not the football luck that comes into the conversation.
So we'll get through a bunch of the games, but to put a pin in this Rams stuff,
yeah.
Do you still trust them more than any team in the NFC? Like if you're really talking about the top of it, we'll talk about the Seahawks a little bit today and what they did to Brosmer. There's the Eagles. There's the Cowboys.
So, yeah, that's what I was going to ask. It's like you're asking a different question, I think. It's like I think if you had to choose one team from the NFC to win a game this weekend is the question that you're asking, right? And would it be the Eagles, the Rams?
Do mini power rankings.
Right, but I mean, power rankings are different because I think you're asking a different question. Because fundamentally what I'm asking is, can I include the Cowboys in this conversation?
You can include the Packers, you can include the Lions, make your own adventure.
No, but I'm just saying that it's different because the Cowboys are likely not to make the playoffs, but I'm high on them right now. Really high on them right now.
I don't know why you're... I mean, I know what the models say, but I don't know why you're so sure about that. That's my piece of driftwood I'm hanging on.
I think I would still go with the Rams. I'm a sucker.
I don't want to go with anybody. Do I have to pick someone?
You got to pick somebody.
I guess I'm picking the Seahawks because I buy
the wrong answer.
That's the wrong answer?
Yeah, it's the wrong answer.
The thing is, Sam is kind of the same guy every week. He's kind of it's terrifying every week. Like at least I don't have incredible aspirations for what I'm going to get from Sam Darnold.
This was not. They played a Minnesota team that.
Oh, we getting into the
we can get into the Brosmer stuff. They won 26-0, and but it's not like Darnold lit the world on fire. No. Obviously, it's against a very blitz happy Minnesota defense, but like it seems like they only targeted JSN 4 times, and like he is the entire offense. And Darnold didn't do much in that game. He's 14 for 26 for 128 yards. They didn't need him to.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a referendum on Darnold. And they actually ran the ball decently well in this game. But like, I don't I guess what I'd say is I don't know why you would trust the Seahawks more. I guess just because now we've seen the floor with Darnold in a couple of bad games.
Nah, I mean, that's why I said it was the wrong
answer. I trust the defense more. I don't trust the quarterback more, but I trust the defense more. By the way, Sam Darnold in this game, 14-26, 128, 4 sacks. Max Brosmer, 19-30, 126, 4 sacks. He did turn the ball over 5 times. That is a slight difference between those two. But just throw out the takeaways. These are basically the same quarterback in this game.
Do you see for the last 2 weeks with JJ last week and Brosmer this week that if Vikings quarterbacks had just spiked the ball on every single drop back, their QBR would be higher?
Jesus. That's bad, man.
What if Kevin O'Connell comes out next week and they just literally start spiking the ball every single down?
I just they have to be able to find someone better than this.
I mean, Peterman came to mind immediately in that game where it's like your first start is like a start that draws a lot of attention and then goes really poorly. And I was thinking at least Brosmer didn't throw 5 picks, but he did turn it over 5 times. So like, it's a really rough way to start a career, man.
4 interceptions.
Grand opening, grand close.
Right, I know. It was 4 interceptions, but didn't he have a fumble? It was 5 turnovers.
Did he have a fumble?
Oh, no, maybe I'm wrong. But anyway.
It was Jones had a fumble.
Oh, 5 turnovers for the team. It was rough.
It was rough.
Yeah.
Here's my question for you. And I went back and forth on this when I was thinking about it. If you're a Vikings fan and you see this, do you feel better? Because you're like, well, J.J. McCarthy was better than this replacement level guy that we were talking about as
of course not
potential, mediocre quarterback? Or do you feel worse because you're like, oh no, these guys don't actually have any idea how to fix this thing?
Bill, I appreciate you coming up with questions to move this show along and try to make it interesting. But how in the hell could a Vikings fan feel better after that game? Like maybe if you're a J.J. McCarthy fan or related to J.J. McCarthy, you could be like, all right, you feel slightly better. At least we haven't had a 4-pick game. But there's no way that anyone in the entire state of Minnesota can feel better.
There are a few things I need to say about this. First off, this guy was the guy that beat reporters were saying played better than McCarthy in practice. Ooh. Which is like, what does JJ look like in practice? 2, if you are on any social media platform engaging in NFL content, they use the JJ McCarthy meme to now be synonymous with any quarterback at any level of football playing like your first round pick is synonymous with that is a tough scene.
And then so have people done? So Charlie sends me these memes.
Oh, it's so funny
of JJ McCarthy's face superimposed on other people.
All 5 Chargers offensive linemen today.
It was
great.
It hadn't crossed my mind until just now. Is that did they do a Brosmer?
They did Max Brosmer today, and it was just JJ McCarthy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, JJ was better, which you just established.
He was.
And Bill tried to figure out a way to make that some people watched that and felt better somehow.
He was just Brosmer with moxie.
Oh, that's
McCarthy is.
Yeah.
An eye black. He could run at least. That was the one thing. At least he could move. That might be the one saving grace for the JJ McCarthy fans.
He obviously, I think that I assume that JJ's concussion is going to clear up this week and he's going to be back out there. But the Levitzian interception that he threw,
the underhand
pick
one?
6, yeah,
that was amazing.
Because even if that succeeds, it's to a double cover Josh Oliver 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage. It is the closest thing I can imagine to random civilian being put on the field for an NFL snap on 4th and 1. It was awe-inspiring.
So normally we talk about quarterbacks' decision making, and you're like, all right, if it's 4th down, like you might as well throw it because it's going to be a turnover either way. But in that situation where you're down in the red zone, like you're better off even if you throw an interception, you're better off, and they tackle them, you're better off with incompletion because like factored into the decision making process is we'll have them backed up. Like the only thing that is really horrible is that you throw it to a guy who is in position to score a touchdown underhand, just in case you were worried about him not being able to catch it. You give a nice little soft underhand. Like,
Well,
I guess it
flip it.
speeds up. I don't understand
there was
thought process.
there was the shot from like the sky cam that was like behind him, and Justin Jefferson's open in the end zone as a step on the guy, and just sees the pick six, and you can just see his shoulder slump, and the camera cuts before he gets there. He just starts slowly walking towards the sideline.
Yeah. We're getting to that point with Justin Jefferson. There's been a lot of comments about like how he's done a really good job and how he's been really patient and had good body language. No, that's about to change.
So this is the Justin Jefferson conversation is, of course he wants to win, and that's very important. And I think that there's like such a stigma for guys who are worried about their numbers, which like I understand where that stigma comes from. And it's valid most of the time, but in this case, he's on a Hall of Fame trajectory.
Yes.
In the conversation with the greats, and y'all out here wasting years, healthy years. You just gonna have me go out there and run wind sprints for 4 yards. He had a drop in this game too, so I think
but
he took responsibility
there's a
for
difference,
that.
though. Like, it's one thing if you have like a quarterback who you trust could plausibly get it to you on the roster. Just like, oh, we got to get that guy in there. Justin Jefferson knows there's no hope no matter who's in there at quarterback. Like he's so far away from being able to rack up numbers that it's almost like he can't even get mad because they're not like a play or a narrow miss or, like it is, he has to have no hope. Like this man, his entire life has been getting open and getting the football. And now in the peak of his career, on a expensively assembled roster that everyone was super excited about outside of some questions about the quarterback, they look completely and utterly broken around him.
It's also, this is not like, I'm sure he wants to put up better numbers. He's on a Hall of Fame trajectory. This is also like, we're not even close. Like he's looked great with Kirk Cousins, Josh Dobbs, Sean Mannion, Nick Mullins, Jaron Hall, Sam Darnold. And like, to see the drop off from some of those names to these names, like it's beyond like the diva wide receiver trope to try and put that on Jefferson. He wants to play competitive football, and he's looking at these guys, and it's like, I mean, it would be bizarre if he wasn't frustrated about this.
I'm just thinking about, is there anything they can do? Is there any way to fix this before the end of the year?
I mean, what's Carson Wentz's injury status? Because I'm looking back at Wentz's numbers, and they're like, I know that he's not great. This team isn't much better, but like he's putting up like NFL level like passing numbers. Like he's got a couple 300-yard games, a 200-yard game. Like it's different. It's serviceable.
This is like some weird curse where like over the last couple of years, Kevin O'Connell would keep replacing the quarterback, and somehow the guy he put in would be better than the last guy. And now this is flipped where no matter who goes in, the guy who comes in looks so much worse than the guy who was in before him that even though the guy before him sucked, you are longing and desperate to see that guy again because the player who has come in is so bad in his place. And I'm very scared of what that means for JJ McCarthy taking over for Brax Mosber next week.
I feel so gross that we're yearning for 2025 Carson Wentz. It's like, that is so gross that we need to move on. We can't do more on this.
Oh yeah, I agree.
We need to go to a really significant result from the day. Texans 20, Colts 16. This is, the Colts no longer have a stranglehold on the AFC South, which you thought they had. They had a pole position for the 1 seed at one point. Sauce Gardner went out with a calf strain. It's not believed to be an Achilles injury, which is great. Twitter's shown that still means there's a good chance he'll miss a month, based on like similar injuries, not like the Twitter doctoring of like prior calf strains for defensive backs. Daniel Jones is playing through a fractured fibula. The offense actually like wasn't horrible in this game against a Houston Texans defense that's like best in the league, but moving forward, what do you think the outlook is for both of these teams, and how far can a defense like Houston carry them? Because like I watch them and they look like the most aesthetic defense in the league. I know there's ones that are like, there's a group of amazing defenses, but Houston's uniquely physical and fast.
Yeah, they're super fun to watch. Al-Shaair got away with a suplex in this game, which was impressive. He didn't get flagged. I thought with his reputation, they would have flagged him immediately. But yeah, this defense, we've talked about it all season long, how fun this defense is to watch. If you're asking me.
One thing on Al-Shaair, he also was on the ground, clearly concussed. Then they cleared him of concussion protocol in like 5 minutes. He was back out there causing complete chaos. Carry on.
Oh, man.
He is Alvin Mack from the program.
Nobody loves brain injuries like Charlie.
He does love him.
No, it's just like he is a cartoon character linebacker.
Yeah, no, he is very much an old school stereotype of a linebacker where it's just. But anyway, he's fun. This defense is fun. We watched them collapse that really good offensive line on occasion. But you're right. Like, I was impressed with the Colts' ability to make plays. Daniel Jones had a couple that touchdown pass was impressive. He attacked the middle of the field well, and I just thought he had a couple really good throws. But ultimately, it feels like they're both headed in opposite directions, despite the fact that they have very different offensive lines.
Mm-hmm.
But it feels like the Texans are coming for that division, given what the Colts are dealing with injury-wise. You add Sauce Gardner's injury that didn't look good to what they're saying right now is his calf. They took him back in the locker room. He seems like he's gonna miss some significant time. Your starting quarterback has a broken leg essentially. And he's still a fracture.
Not even essentially. He does have a broken leg.
Yeah. That's where I keep coming back to.
Yeah.
Are we sort of not paying significant enough attention to the fact that Daniel Jones has a broken leg and we're just treating it like, oh yeah, he can play through it. He's fine. It impacted them in this game. He was 14-27. He did miss a bunch of throws. They couldn't use him on sneaks, and then Tyler Warren motioned into the backfield for a tush push and fumbled a snap, which makes sense because he's not a quarterback and doesn't take that many snaps. And I sort of wonder, like, now all your zone read stuff is out of the playbook because teams don't think you're going to run him. It does feel like it limits the ceiling for this offense. And you guys are right in that they had some nice plays in this game. It wasn't like they were useless. Alec Pierce was really good in this game again, but earlier in the year, they had those big plays and they were consistently a really successful offense. And it doesn't feel like they're as successful, as consistent as they were in sort of the glory days of the Domonique Foxworth Show when Domonique was bragging about how great they were for you.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about those glory days. Those are long gone. I've watched them now, and we are now out of the glory days. I actually think that the way they performed offensively was commendable, considering all the situations, all the issues they were facing along with going up against that good defense. Yeah. But it doesn't matter. Like, they aren't going to be good enough. His leg is not going to heal as long as he's playing on it, and their schedule gets more difficult. And I think they had, obviously, when they made the trade for Sauce, they were hoping to make a championship run. And they're one of the teams that I believe in a lot less now. And it sucks for Daniel Jones, in part because the story about Daniel Jones isn't going to change, and he's not going to be able to change it, which it might still be true. Like, the big situations might be too big for him. But right now, you can't really get a clear look at it because his athleticism, as is the case with most modern quarterbacks, their athleticism is core to them being effective against these defenses, and that's lost. You can't get hit anymore.
Yeah, most quarterbacks, it's really important for them to have two legs that are not broken. I'll tell you what, Domonique, you go through history. You know, yes. I like doing my research, looking at the numbers.
You do.
You look at quarterbacks who have won the Super Bowl. It's like 100%. They have two legs that are not broken. And right now the Colts have a quarterback who has one broken leg. Like, it was so frustrating to me because when they traded for Sauce Gardner, I came out on this show, wrote in my column, and I said, you have a quarterback who has completed one healthy season in his NFL career. Mm-hmm. If you're going all in, that's fine, but you need a backup. You cannot have Riley Leonard as the guy in place when Daniel Jones inevitably has to deal with an injury. I didn't think he was going to break his leg and play through it, but it just feels like they don't have an alternative now, and I'm so frustrated because that is the thing they needed behind Daniel Jones.
The broken leg is a big deal. I don't want to act like it's not. But people play with fractures. Like, it's a thing that happened. They have a fracture. It's not like it's snapped. We keep saying it's broken. I assume that it hurts, and obviously makes things more difficult. I know I sound like a crazy person. I've played with fractured bones before. Like, it's a thing that happens in football. And maybe it's different if it's your leg. Not maybe. It's different if it's your leg and it's your quarterback. But, I mean, there's a level of break that you can't play with. Obviously, he is playing with this break. So, and he's playing well on occasion. I know this sounds ridiculous, but
Jack Youngblood broke his leg.
Oh, gosh.
And then played 4 football games, including the Super Bowl, and then played in the Pro Bowl afterwards with a broken left fibula, just like Daniel Jones.
Oh, shout out to Jack Youngblood. Was he a tight end?
He's a defensive end.
Oh,
Said
man.
his exact response when he found out it was broken was, tape it up.
Well, it's not quarterback. It's slightly different.
Is that easier to play defensive end with a broken leg?
No, it's probably harder. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's my point is they call it a fracture because I had this conversation with my wife. She's like, his leg's broken. I was like, because when you tell someone you have a broken leg, we all imagine like it's snapped. Like it's a different situation, obviously. I feel like we spent too much time pretending like we know anything about his medical.
So I think that like we're talking about how unfortunate it is because it like, look, regardless of how the season goes forward for them, it doesn't seem like it's going to be a great spot for the Colts. But I also don't think that means like what we saw earlier in the season was necessarily fake. Like they had an incredible offense and he played really well. Sure. It's really unfortunate that this happens. And this sometimes happens with NFL teams where they might just be the rabbit for this year because of injuries and because of the way things panned out. On the Texans, on the other side, we saw C.J. Stroud come back. We saw Nico Collins involved in the offense again. Mm-hmm. That defense is unbelievable. And they have a legitimate chance to win the division now. I know Jacksonville's right there too, but you look at a really muddy AFC, and what do you think the outlook is for this team? Because like they're a pain in the to play.
They got a playoff win last year, or in a competitive game against the Chiefs. So like I think this team, in a one-game situation, obviously can stand up when that defense is as good as it is. But ultimately, the offensive line is one of the things that we always look for is teams that we can trust, is teams that can protect their quarterback and run the ball because their offensive line is so good. Like, this offensive line has been an issue for a while, and the issue is exacerbated by C.J. Stroud's holding on to the ball, like in this game. And of course, maybe it's because people aren't open. I don't mean to blame it all on C.J. Stroud, but it seems like it does increase when he's back there quarterback. Like those complications, if you can scheme it up well that he can get rid of it quickly and feel confident and be successful and play to your defense, like, yeah, this team can keep it close with anybody as long as CJ's not getting sacked or turning the ball over. But I don't trust that he's going to be able to do that with this offensive line consistently enough for them to make a deep run.
Some of it is on CJ, but I think the same issue we saw last year with the offensive infrastructure and the fact that they can't run the ball and what that leads to, which is a lot of third and long, a lot of pure drop back, a lot of putting your tackles on islands, a lot of, trying or either chipping and only having 3 guys out in routes, and so nobody is getting open, and then you are getting CJ sacks. And they've been a little better with Woody Marks being kind of the 1A to Nick Chubb's 1B, but they averaged 3.2 yards per carry in this game. Like, it's not as if this was a even good rushing performance against a Colts team that didn't have their best defensive lineman in DeForest Buckner, which, by the way, I think is one of the reasons why they've been a little disappointing over the last few weeks. He was playing at a really high level before he got hurt. But I just sort of struggle with that idea of, with this Texans team, are they going to be able to live up to that potential? Can they be an offense that can be consistent? I find that so hard to believe because as much talented as they are, I just think their infrastructure is so broken. They have trouble lining up. They take too many penalties, or too many dumb penalties, I guess, or unnecessary penalties. And they have to be one-dimensional. And that's frustrating because if they can get ahead, if they can get leads in their games, man, that pass rush is so scary. That is such a tough team to play. If you're trying to play from behind, they just are going to struggle to do that because they're just not a complete team on the offensive side of the ball.
I got to play pretty conservatively offensively and hope for big shots. Like it's a Broncos style of team without them actually like completely committing to playing safe. So like I think that's the risky part, is that they could get in a situation where they have turnovers and sacks because they trust in CJ more than I think the Broncos trust in Bo Nix. And I was looking at it. They're 24th in the league with 7.3 yards, their average third down distance. Like, that's going to be bad. If you can't run the ball, you end up in those long third downs. You normally can't sustain success no matter how good your defense is. And the Broncos are worse than that. They'll probably get better tonight, but the Broncos are 7.5 with 27th in the league for third down yards. But yeah, that's what it comes down. I think they don't have something. I think we call it like an identity or anything. They don't have something that offensively there you're like, all right, we're good at this.
Oh, no. They have an identity. Their identity is, oh, CJ, fix it. Or, oh, CJ, someone's come and run for your life. Or, oh, CJ, I'm sorry. Davis, go in there. Like that. Unfortunately, that's a identity you don't want to have with a young franchise quarterback.
Oh, CJ, I'm sorry. Davis, go in there. It's not an identity. Throw it up to Nico.
Nico down there somewhere is definitely an identity.
I don't mind that identity. I liked it when they had. I mean, obviously, it's a bummer because injuries have really derailed Tank Dell's career. But when they had those two receivers cooking during CJ's rookie year, that was like a legitimately fun part of their offense. All right, guys, we're gonna time travel a little bit back and talk about we haven't podcasted since the Thanksgiving and Black Friday games. Yeah. Sorry, we needed a break. We needed a chance to relax, but I want to talk about some of those games now. We're going to push it forwards and talk about sort of the playoff odds and where these things go.
Thanksgiving is not relaxing. I mean, maybe it is for you.
No.
Not for me. It's an intense holiday. It's cooking. I got 40 people in my house. It's intense. You needed to relax.
I just did dishes. I volunteer. I'm like, just let me do dishes quietly and not bother anyone.
Got a fried turkey. Let me show you my turkeys.
I've seen every second of Foxworth Family Thanksgiving from Ash's Instagram, and it's awesome. Bill,
didn't get the invite though, Charlie. Did you?
I got it.
I did.
It's
an indirect invite. His parents live close by, and I was like, "Stop on by if you want to." That was it.
Ooh, that's not a real invite.
Wasn't an official invite. You're right.
I should have stopped.
No. That's the play action of invite. We were gonna hand you the ball, but we didn't hand you the ball.
So I got hit with some Jewish mother guilt, or I was hoping to go to because like it was just me and Carrie with my parents, not my brother and the grandkids and stuff, and they're like, we're just so happy that you're here, and like it would have been so unfulfilling to do Thanksgiving alone. Yeah. And I was like, 10 hours together, let's lock in.
That's like the kids thing. Is you're the star. That's ridiculous to me. You're like 35, and they're like, "Hey, Charlie's here, guys."
So there was a chance that they were going to do Thanksgiving alone, and my brothers knew it with his wife's family, and we were going to do it with Carrie's family, and I was like,
"Oh yeah, can't do it."
And they were like, "We thought we were going to be alone. It was going to be so sad. It's been our first Thanksgiving totally alone in 35 years."
You were.
And I was like, "Dang, I'm not moving anywhere." I was like, "Dad, let's sit on the couch together and talk about the same things we've talked about every week."
It's my favorite thing about holidays. It's not just with dads, but it's normally with like other family members where they know one thing about you, and it was from when you were 16. And so when they see you, they're like, hey, how about that rap? You hit that hippity hop. My cousin, it's funny because he's like, my dad always comes up to him and is like, "How the O's doing?" Talk about the Oreos. How the O's doing? Because they ain't paid attention to Oreos in 20 years. But 20 years ago, he loved the O's. So
Brady Anderson still killing it.
How the O's? What'd you think about the O's? Tough year. Need to rebuild, or what's the farm system looking like? It's great.
Amazing. All right, guys, we got to get our hands off.
Oh, throw them up.
All right. It's time for the Good Hands Plays presented by Allstate. You're in good hands with the Cowboys wide receivers.
Yeah.
CD Lamb and trustworthy George Pickens, the most trustworthy receiver in the league. Cowboys 31, Chiefs 28 on Thanksgiving. It's so fun to watch this Cowboys team play offensively. Pickens had the like little hitch route where he caught the ball, beat the guys to the edge, jumped over a defender. CD had a couple crazy touchdowns. And coming out of this game, this felt like both a must win for both these teams. They sort of have to run the table to make the playoffs for both of them. And the Cowboys are playing as good offensively as any team in the NFL right now. But question I have for you coming out of this, you've had a couple of days to digest this result. Which of these teams has a better chance to make noise in the postseason, the Cowboys or the Chiefs?
Can you imagine, Charlie? Go back to the beginning of the year.
Should we close our eyes?
I wish you could close your eyes if you want. You can go back and just imagine the tryptophan coma you were in earlier this week, and imagine you're floating back to August. And imagine if you could find out what was happening in the future after Thanksgiving, that you would earnestly ask myself and Domonique Foxworth, who do you think is going to make more noise in the playoffs? The Dallas Cowboys or the Kansas City Chiefs? Imagine the things that would have had to happen along the way to get you to believe that you were going to earnestly, realistically ask us that question and not know what the answer was going to be.
It's incredible non-answer. You just took us on a great journey. I loved it. I loved
all those things happen.
I loved it. And which team? I don't think there was a team that was more like aggressively criticized before the season started than the Cowboys for the decisions that they made, them throwing the season away. And then we were all like justified in our criticism because of how their season was going in the exact areas that the exact situation where we expected turned out to be the case. And now, for whatever reason, I feel like they're America's team again. I feel like a lot of us are watching this and enjoying it in a way that they haven't been in forever. Like, no one really ever roots for the Cowboys. I guess they have a big fan base, but general sports fans are rarely like, go Cowboys. But this Cowboys team is fun, and they feel like underdogs who have turned into a real respectable team. I think the answer to Charlie's question is contingent on who do you actually think could make the playoffs. I think the Cowboys are going to have a real hard time making the playoffs.
Chiefs are too.
Yeah, and Chiefs have a clearer path, in my view, in an easier AFC than the Cowboys do. But either way, I really want the Cowboys in the playoffs. I don't know that I can bring myself to say, do you actually think the Cowboys, if we put them both in, we made them both 7 seeds, I promise you they're 7 seeds, the Cowboys going up against either the Rams or maybe the Bears, and on the other side, it's the Chiefs. Who would they be playing in the top seed in AFC?
The Patriots. I guess the Patriots have the bye, but
yeah.
So it'd most likely be the Broncos.
Yeah, Broncos in the first round, and then the Patriots after that. If we assume,
it's assuming the Patriots win out. They are missing the entire left side of their offensive line now. There's a chance that the Patriots are not going to win out.
I mean, there's no examples of teams around the NFL losing an offensive lineman or two and suddenly collapsing to earth on offense or anything.
No. Well, I mean, the Eagles going to get Lane back, and then they're going to be juggernauts once again.
Maybe they'll get Mekhi Becton.
They're really going to be a lot better suddenly.
Have you seen that Mekhi Becton's complaining about his usage in LA, and there's people are already speculating they'll end up back on the Eagles by the end of the year with the release.
How can you be complaining about your usage if you're an offensive lineman?
Yeah, I said the exact same thing. It was like, but apparently
they're not getting me the ball enough.
Apparently that's fancy for playing time. It's not actual usage. Yeah. It's like he's not out there enough.
He's not out there enough.
Yeah. I was like, what do you mean?
So
they got him kick sliding? Yeah.
We're not running duo enough.
I know. Not enough
You're
motion.
making me pass block.
Can I tell you my honest thoughts on this? And it's something that you guys will throw in my face and laugh at me when neither of these teams make the playoffs.
Hold on. I got to start recording before you answer this question. I want to make sure I have this on the record.
You don't trust that we'll be able to bring it back out?
I think the Cowboys and the Chiefs are like 2 of the 5 best teams in the NFL. It's
kind of safe. I'm counting them up in my head. And especially if you put aside what you are, I guess, like this season.
If you put aside what you are.
No, not put aside what you are. You are actually putting aside a lot of the season, and you're assuming that for the Cowboys in particular, that they're a different team since the trade deadline.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I'm willing to accept that based on what I've been seeing.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that they're legitimately good. I think you could make the case just on sheer vibes for the team and the organization. Not that I would make the case. You could make the case. George Pickens' bigger addition than Micah was a subtraction.
That's a stupid case. It's a good case. It's a funny case if you want to make a hot take and get some attention.
I was exactly what I was trying to do. I was testing the waters.
Yeah, Micah, he had
2.5 sacks. Completely game wrecked against the Lions. Looked unbelievable.
Second time.
He kind of looks like outside of Myles Garrett. I mean, Myles Garrett's in his different stratosphere of defensive players, but in the world of mortals, he kind of looks like the best defensive player on the planet. But so that's tough. But
Quentin Williams has been great. Like I think two things can be true, right? Like we can throw away what we saw from the Cowboys earlier this year, and we should. Like they added a Pro Bowl caliber defensive tackle. They paid a lot of money or a lot of draft capital to get him, but like doesn't matter. Like, you know, you maybe it wasn't the most financially prudent thing to mortgage to like sell everything in your house to get a Ferrari. Doesn't mean the Ferrari's not cool. Doesn't mean that doesn't sound good when you drive it back to the house, even though there's nothing left in it that you're going to have after this year. But like the Cowboys are a legitimately great offense and probably now average to maybe above average, maybe below average, depending on how you look at it defense, which that is a good combo in the modern NFL. Like in this season, if you're really good on one side of the ball and you're just not horrible and hopeless on the other side of the ball, you are a top 10 team in the NFL.
None of us have answered the question. Yeah, none of us have answered the question that Charlie proposed. I'm going to be brave. Listen. Yes. I'm going to be brave. I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say it with my chest. Let's hear it.
The Chiefs are going to be a better team in the playoffs than the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, I think that's the right answer. I won't stand for the Dak slander. However,
I gave you guys 10 minutes to be brave and bold, and you were not willing to do it. So I just had to do it myself.
Yeah. I would love to see this as a Super Bowl matchup.
Oh, that'd be so fun. That game was so fun. I guess all the Cowboys games lately have been really fun to watch, but the Chiefs versus Cowboys Super Bowl rematch,
it'd be great. Fun. It's get them both in the dance.
You know what it is? You brought up why people like the Cowboys now. It's because people sort of inherently knew the Eagles were a little bit of and the Chiefs were a little bit of and seeing the Cowboys beat both those teams was very satisfying to people who were skeptical of the Eagles and the Chiefs.
In 4 days. In 4 days.
Yeah. I mean, the Athletics playoff predictor still has the Cowboys at 22% chance of making the playoffs, which I guess maybe factors in how bad they were early in the season. They're unwilling to accept that we're looking at a new Cowboys team, which is what we've all accepted, and the Chiefs are still at 40% after that loss. So they're more likely to get in.
3 of their final 5 games are Vikings, Commanders, and Giants. So
yeah.
I think they're going to be okay.
Yeah, they are going to get to 10 at least. Boys, we need the boys in the playoffs.
Yeah, we do. So as we run through these holiday games, are you guys just out on the Ravens now?
Yeah.
After what you saw against the Bengals? Is it over for them this season? Pack it up, get ready for the offseason.
Their
division is trash.
Yeah.
They're going to make the playoffs.
That's the problem for this whole season, I think, is that nobody's that good. And like in the back of my mind,
they look like
so do so many other teams. I guess the Chiefs actually don't look like anymore.
No.
But they had a stretch of looking pretty. The Bills got to win today. However, they've also looked like the Colts. They had a tough loss, but they got a broken leg quarterback. That is a real looking organization.
Dominique, it's not that broken. Relax.
Yeah, exactly.
It's only a little broken.
What type of crazy person would say that? And
a little broken.
It's just a little frack.
There are certain things as a former NFL player you can say that I can't say. You can be like, oh, listen, a lot of people have broken bones and they still play. It's fine. That's something you can say. I can't say that.
It's a high-end bruise. That's all it is. I'm saying. The Texans. Offensive line, like that's the problem with trying to declare any of the teams that look bad as actually bad is if they have something on the team that suggests that they can be good, like the Texas defense,
that's not
or
what I mean.
the picture
bad.
of Lamar Jackson potentially returning to Lamar Jackson form is enough for me to be like, they're not out of it all the way. And what they do on defense with Kyle Hamilton, like, maybe they got a chance, but I really don't believe in them any more than I believe it, less than I believe in a lot of the other AFC teams.
2 things. It's not about them being bad. It's about the standard they set for
You said
themselves.
I believe is the word you use. You didn't include them in the category?
No.
Okay.
They weren't in the category. It's just that, like I said, is it like over from this year? So it's about the concept. Like their window has been about like trying to win Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Which feels very far off with this team. I will say, of the category, Lamar was memed as JJ McCarthy,
So
which
that's bad.
which is tough.
I'm worried about that Photoshop. That Photoshop could be offensive.
Not offensive.
I got to tell you, they did all right. They did okay. Whoever did that Photoshop,
Yeah.
Respect it.
yeah, whoever did that
Congratulations.
Photoshop, I don't got to make no calls. We're okay. I'll let you
Here's the
slide.
thing about all those teams you brought up. There's at least one thing they have, one important thing they have, where you can be like, okay, on their best day, they can dominate with blank. The Texans have that defensive line. Right. The Colts have a great running game. The Broncos have a great defense. The Chiefs have Mahomes. What's the Ravens' dominant thing? Their run game is not great. Their passing game has been inconsistent. Lamar does not look like Lamar. Their defense is improved, no question, but they're not dominating on defense.
Yeah.
Like, what is that thing they have where they can beat anybody if X looks great on their day? They don't have that thing right now.
I mean, the thing is, Lamar. I guess he hasn't
But he's
played.
not Lamar.
Yeah, he hasn't played well this season.
He looks
but
injured. He legitimately looks injured still.
I guess it feels like there's a level of credibility that Lamar has earned over the last several years that I believe it's in there. If it's an injury that's keeping it from coming out, that's fine.
That's the issue. It's not talent, it's injury.
Right. So, like, there's a chance that he could get better. I don't know. Like, I'm not arguing that we should believe in his team, but if you're going to give all those other teams this particular, like, high ceiling if one thing acts right, then the Ravens still have that. Like, Lamar, if he turns into Lamar, if he gets healthier as the season goes along and his accuracy returns, his athleticism returns, then that's the thing. It changes everything about their organization. It'll lead to a better rushing attack. It'll lead to better defense because they'll score more. Like, everything gets better if Lamar can play like an MVP. He hasn't done it at all this year. So I guess I understand why you wouldn't expect it. But, like, if it happens, then this team is good.
In September.
Yeah.
When JJ McCarthy was winning Offensive Player of the Week awards. That was a long time ago, Domonique.
Agreed.
Like if I see it again, okay, no question. I will happily say the Ravens have that ceiling. Right. But we have not seen that since he got hurt.
Yeah, I guess the difference is the things that you're pointing out of these other places have actually happened at some point this year.
Recently.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Lamar stuff, it was last year, which isn't that in the year before that, in the year before that. Sure. So it isn't that long ago, but I get your point. We haven't seen them do it this year, and he had a knee and a hamstring and an ankle. I think he had one other.
He has not been back. He was great in September. He has not been that guy since recovering. He was playing what I think a lot of us believe to be one of the 2 or 3 worst defenses in football, and they turned the ball over 5 times. He barely completed 50% of his passes. He was not running a ton. Like, this is, if there was ever a spot where it was going to be, okay, Lamar is going to dominate this game and look like the old Lamar, it was this Bengals game, and he did not look remotely dominant in this game.
It does feel like the conference is wide open and nobody wants it.
I wish we could bring back like the 2024 Ravens or like the 2022 Bills, like one of those great teams that were stuck with, dominant Chiefs teams, and just be like, this is your chance. We brought you into the future. This is your window. You get to play a Chiefs team that's somehow 500. Go for it. Do it.
Those teams, any of those teams, like, they seem flawless compared to the current state of the NFL. They seem like they are unbeatable. When I guess they seemed that way then too, but it didn't work out.
A couple more and we'll get out of here. So as of today, the Bears are the number 1 seed in the NFC. They have the tiebreaker over the Rams. Vegas doesn't believe in them. They have the 15th best Super Bowl odds. But how do you feel about them? I was going to say on a scale of 1 to 10, how real are the Bears? And you guys were going to mock me for how terrible of the concept that was. But
what's the scale? What's 1 to 10?
Exactly. That's why I was taking that out. Self-edit. The scale is gone. We are scaleless.
The next step is for you to do that calculation in your head and then not tell us about it. Just say, hey, maybe I don't do the 1 to 10.
It's not me. I can only be me.
My hand up.
I'm gonna answer the question the way it was initially intended. 6.
Ooh. I'm going to say 3.5. That's it. I'm not giving you any other insight. Just giving you a number.
You said 6.5?
No, I said 3.5.
Oh, 3.5. Wow.
3.5.
Jeez. Oh. So what is 5, Charlie? So I know where I am.
I guess 10's thinking win the Super Bowl 1. They're the 2022 Vikings.
I think this team has.
I feel good about my number.
All right, we've tortured Charlie enough. I'll bail him out with some analysis.
Okay.
That's up to you. Then you're just torturing the listeners, not me. I can sit here. I can sit here in this all day.
You think they're not enjoying this? They loved it.
Torturing Charlie? That's like the best part of the
This
show.
is the best part of the show.
I'll get better when we gang up on Domonique.
You want me to really
Okay,
torture
fair.
Charlie? Bill, Charlie has this sticker, and he's been waiting for somebody to acknowledge it so we can laugh at his sticker on his computer.
Oh, no.
And we refused to acknowledge it because we had a secret conversation. Like, Charlie has got a new computer. He put a sticker on there, and no one says anything about it. Charlie just wants somebody to talk about his sticker. So, Charlie, here's your chance. Tell everybody about your sticker.
I don't want to anymore. It says thick. It's like a thick dude. It's like me.
What does it mean?
It's just, I don't know. It's like I felt connected to it.
Because of that analysis, I've changed my number to 7. They just got better.
Okay,
Ooh.
cool.
I think the Bears, to your point, Bill, the Bears have a thing. They run the out the ball.
All over the Eagles' defensive line. The vaunted Eagles' defensive line.
So you really just want on the Eagles? That's
Hell
what you're
yeah.
doing. This was a ploy to get an opportunity for you and your Kelly Green hat to on the Eagles.
You can throw on him if you got George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. You can run on him with Monongai and Swift.
I thought it was a well-schemed running attack. I don't think everybody can run on that.
Ben Johnson's amazing.
Yeah, it
running
was
game.
like you go back and look at the motion and the way that he isolated the individual defensive linemen to make sure they just completely unblocked or didn't block the tackle on one run and just ran by him and went to the second level. It was well-designed plays. They ran the out of the ball. Obviously, the criticism of the Eagles is their inability offensively because despite the fact that they ran the hell out of the ball, they didn't run away with the game in the way that it felt like they should when they were dominating it. But Charlie suckered me into criticizing the Eagles offense, which that ain't old. that's fresh and new. We ain't done that forever. Back to the Bears. I think the Bears have one thing.
I didn't bring up the Eagles offense. How did I sucker you into that?
Oh, no,
I thought their
that's
defense.
exactly how you did. I said you suckered me into it. Like you put that bait out there, and I fell for it. I
By
was
not
giving you
talking
credit.
about it, by not bringing
You
up
were-
the Eagles offense.
No,
I
no,
You
no.
were that
suckered you
unblocked
into it.
defensive lineman. You just kind of waltzed to the backfield. Oh, no one's going to block me today. And then you got whammed from the side by
did.
Charlie.
It was
with
a
the
Charlie
Eagles
Wham.
offense.
It was a Charlie Wham. He asked the question that set me. No, I said that the Bears have a good rushing attack, and you said ran all over the Eagles. You know I couldn't resist that.
That had nothing to do with the Eagles offense.
Of course, the progression is going to be eventually you get to the real problem with the Eagles team because that defense did, despite the fact they were getting run on, the defense kept the score low enough that if the
They scored
Eagles
24 points.
Yeah, if the Eagles
Bears.
could, and they had 7 at half, right? Or it was
Yeah.
like if the
They
Eagles
held
were able
Caleb
to.
to like 50% pass, like 140 yards. I can't remember.
If the Eagles were able to produce offensively, the game would have looked differently. But anyway, back to your original question. The Bears have a thing. They run the hell out of the ball. That's a thing that's valuable in the playoffs. They have a quarterback that's led some game-winning drives, but is been inconsistent and not good despite the fact that in a number of the games that they won. So I think that's concerning for the playoffs. And then we've talked about their defense leads the league in turnover margin. I guess their team does. So these are things that make me concerned about them, which is why
Bill.
I give them a little bit over middle of the pack at 6.
So Bill, Domonique was gloating about his text about the Panthers today. He also texted me after the first half of that Bears Eagles game, going, Caleb looks awesome, and at that point the Bears had run for 200 yards, and Caleb was like 7 for 20 for 70 yards.
So this is in context. Caleb did the Caleb things. That's what I mean. You know that we don't talk about Caleb as a good quarterback. We talk about Caleb when he escapes pressure and he does really fun things that don't actually. And you got me doing the Caleb things.
He's very defensive.
I know. I was winning. He turned the tables on me, Bill. I was winning. He was the uncomfortable one. We were laughing at him, Bill. How'd you let him flip
He
it on
warned
me?
you. He said the most fun part of the show is when we turn on Domonique.
He's
And
done
he's
it.
right.
He's done it again.
He's
You want
100% correct.
we change the name of the show? The Charlie
the-
Kravitz Show.
the
Yeah.
not Domonique Foxworth Show.
Yeah, that's probably more accurate.
I feel like they are the Super Steelers. And that they are the Steelers.
It's amazing.
That is hilarious insult that you just made. You're going to pretend like it's not an insult, but go ahead.
It's very kind. Steelers are a perennial playoff contender, Domonique Foxworth. These are the Chicago Bears we're talking about. The Bears have not won a playoff game since their they made it to the NFC Championship game and Jay Cutler got hurt.
When the
They
last
have
time the
not won-
Steelers won a playoff game?
That's fair. That's a good point. They beat the Chiefs in that Alex Smith final playoff game. The Bears are 29th in points allowed per drive when they do not force a turnover. Their defense is not good. It is high variance. They're either going to get the ball or you're going to score. There is very little middle ground for the Chicago Bears. That is tough to pull off in a league where turnovers go down in the postseason, where offenses, you play better offenses, smarter offenses, there's better game planning. They do not turn the ball over quite as much. And they can run the football. But like Caleb is last in the NFL in completion percentage over expected. He's not playing great in an offense that's asking, frankly, not a ton of him in terms of how well they're running the football. He's not having to be a drop back passer where they're playing from behind. Like, I don't have faith that when the game script does not go their way, that Caleb is going to consistently be able to bring them back and be a great drop back passer and win them games. And I'm not saying he can't do it. Obviously, he has the physical talent to do it, but I just have not seen it very often this season.
Didn't Caleb have like a number of fourth quarter wins? I don't disagree with you, but like,
No, his fourth quarter wins have been like.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like it is a close game in the fourth quarter. I'm saying you're down 2 scores
Gotcha.
and
Early.
you have to throw your way back into the game.
Yeah. I mean, I think that those are fair criticism of that. Like, he's had a bunch of game-winning drives where he's looked spectacular on them, but he's also had a lot of stuff where the situations worked in his favor. Like the one where he had the kick returner who returned the ball 65 yards against the Vikings, and that was part
That
of
counts as a fourth
quarter game-winning drive. I mean, look, he's taken a lot of steps forward. He's becoming a much better football player, but like, yeah, there's still questions about that.
Fourth quarter comeback drive where he did not throw a single pass.
That's right.
And got that dub.
his presence.
Last one, Packers 31, Lions 24. Did the theoretical champs, the Green Bay Packers, did they pull you back in with that performance? Me too.
Yeah, I'm back in. I'm back in on the Packers.
I'm so back, man. It was so good.
I'm back in on the pack, man.
Christian Watson.
Oh, he's great. I mean, with 2 drops, he still was an incredible difference maker in that game. Yeah. And it's the Jordan Love thing, man. So the defense is among the best in the league. On any given weekend, they could be the best team, the best defense in all of football. Micah Parsons is as good as advertised, maybe better, even better in this system where they move him around and put him on the inside, and you have no idea where he's coming from. They run games with him, and he has the speed to wreck plays. Like, he is incredible. And then when Jordan Love is on, like, Jordan Love's as good as anybody in football with his throws. So I think the ceiling, they remind me a lot of the teams, like we think about the Broncos and the Texans have come up a lot as teams with great defenses but limited offenses. The Packers are like them, but their offense actually does not have a ceiling. They don't reach it a lot, but like they're not capped in the same way that those other teams are. If they can ever consistently play that way, they dominate really good teams.
I'm going to say it might have helped them a little bit on defense that Amon-Ra St. Brown got hurt on the first drive of the game and didn't come back. It might have impacted the Lions game plan a tiny bit. But you look at the consistent thing between both of these Packers-Lions victories this season. Lions have not been able to run the ball on the Packers. Yeah. And the Packers have then dominated the interior of the Detroit offensive line. I don't know how much we're going to get to with the Lions right now, but that feels like a very sustainable formula for the Packers. Like, their defense is built to play from ahead. It is built to rush the quarterback. I don't love it as much when they have to play from behind. I don't think they're quite as effective, but like, they have great athletes. They obviously have incredible pass rushers. Their secondary is a little on the weaker side. Like, you can run on them. We saw some missed tackles in the secondary, but they got a lot of talented dudes on that side of the football, and they've been a little unlucky in terms of forcing turnovers, and they're going to have that bounce back a bit here as we head to the postseason. Like, they have all the components. We talked about all these teams who we have these questions about, and I've been saying, hey, if you're good on one side of the ball, you're set. There's very few teams who have been as good at different points on both sides of the football as the Packers have been this year. And that in itself is like a differentiator. There's just not many teams who can say, on our day, we can have a top 5 offense and a top 5 defense. Like, the Cowboys are fun. They can't say that. I don't think the Chiefs can say that. I don't think the Bears can say that. I don't even think maybe you could say the Seahawks could say that if Sam's really hot. But Like, there's just so few teams who have that ceiling on both sides of the ball right now.
The Rams, I guess you would put in that conversation also, but you're right. Yeah, the Packers, they do have that ability. Yeah, I like this team again. And what they did to the Lions
awesome.
is it's interesting because the Lions have been dominant up front for a few years now. And the Packers, from week one and this week, just completely destroyed them across the front, which is surprising. They've gone to pull Ragnow out of retirement, which...
Couldn't play. He failed his physical.
Oh, I know he failed his physical for this week, right?
No, period.
No, he has a grade 3 hamstring injury,
Which is insane. It's like torn off the bone.
When you look it up, it's like you need to get immediate medical assistance. Your hamstring is no longer communicating with your body. And he just walked into camp and he was like, "Yeah, I'll play with this, whatever."
It's just
incredible.
It's described as the most severe type of hamstring injury possible.
So, can I ask a question? Obviously,
it's a complete tear off the bone.
Obviously, I'm just learning of this. So he walks in and says, "I want to play." They tweet it out. They announce it. Ragnow is back.
Yep.
Was he just walking around life with a hamstring injury so bad that he need medical attention and decided I'm gonna go play, and that's gonna make it better?
Yes.
It is a 6-month recovery. If it was somehow he didn't need surgery, it's a 9-month recovery for the surgery for a full hamstring rupture for sports if he were to get the surgery.
I'm sorry. I know I'm supposed to be an expert and I'm supposed to know about all these things. However, how did he hurt it? Just life?
I don't know.
His life.
I know.
He's just out there ragnowing around. You know, one thing leads to another.
I know over the summer, Brian Baldinger said he pulled his hamstring running through the airport. Maybe it was to get to the flight to
Detroit.
I don't think I've ever heard of a grade 3. Like, I don't know anyone who's had that. God, they gotta sew that back together. Well, I mean, speedy recovery to Frank Ragnow. Not for their O-line, though. They are not going to get
Dominique's
fast.
like broken bone in your leg. Whatever, man. People play with broken bones. Grade 3 hamstring strain. Ooh.
Yes. It's much worse. It's much worse than the fracture. Because the fracture, give me a grade on that fracture. You tell me what grade the fracture is, you might sell me.
The grade is broke.
You might sell me. If it's a grade 1 fracture, I don't know. Grade 3 fracture, get my attention. Grade 3 hamstring tear is absurd, man.
You know it's black and blue. You know he just looks at his leg and it's just like
that's
like
why I'm dumbfounded.
Got a tattoo.
I am sorry that I've ground this show to a halt. We'll wrap it up.
We like the Packers.
And everyone will go on about their lives. But I can't understand how a man could be walking around with a grade 3 hamstring tear, and rather than saying, "Let me go to a doctor," he said, "Let me go to the Lions facility."
Maybe that's it. Maybe
He needs
Maybe
doctors.
he walked into the facility looking for medical attention, and the Lions interpreted that as him wanting to come back. But he's like, no.
Like,
my leg, I literally can't walk. My leg is broke.
That's fair. I like that. That's probably what happened. He went in to get some help, and they're like, "We need some help. You need help. We need help. Get in there." Frank's back, everybody.
I want to go to the medical center. Oh, you want to play center? Perfect. We need a center.
Thank you, Bill. You made it make sense to me. You're the man. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Charlie. Thank all the great producers. I love you, Podville. We out. This has been the Domonique Foxworth Show presented by Allstate. Throw your hands up.
This is the Domonique Foxworth Show.